Holy moly. Jim, this area, hi chap. Nephew, I want to thank you. He never finished his story. We pulled canoe for the same uncle in the days, in our canoe paddling days. Came to the island and I came to the Stalmash. So we had wonderful, wonderful times in the canoe journeys. I want to thank the young ladies and this wonderful blanket. Antiquith Shalkweelam. My traditional name is Shalkweelam. Nate Lax in one of the Gulf Islands. Me Taikal Nem Chemainus. We have moved to Chemainus. Chemainus has 4 villages. If you happen to see our logo, it's 4 canoes. It depicts the 4 villages of Chemainus people. Our village is Shell Beach. It's called Shell Beach. In amongst our tidal areas is the world's best clam. It's just full of clams, and our traditional past is we relied on the clams and the shellfish. It's so abundant. So there's middens all over the place along our shores. That's the name we use now, Shell Beach, but the traditional name is Sakmin. It describes the flounder fisherman with the spear. It's right in front of us, right at our beaches. We're so fortunate to have all the different kinds of food on our beaches. The whole South Island, the east side of the South Island and the Gulf Islands were so rich for and abundant. This name we use now, Salish Sea, it's not that old. We worked hard on changing or adding on to the name. We wanted to find a way to connect with people, all the peoples of the Salish Sea, to help us, because the Salish Sea was at the cliff falling over. It's a desperate time, and we couldn't do it ourselves. We tried as much as we can, but we need help from everybody that lives around the Salish Sea to bring it back to the way we enjoyed it as young men and young children, so our grandkids could have the same enjoyment. And everybody would benefit from it. So we never miss an opportunity to speak to people. Academics, scientists, government people, you name it, we'll be there to try and express to you and all of you that we need your help to save the Salish Sea. It's it's a hard thing we're doing. It challenges lots, particularly industry is being challenged. Sometimes though it's the grandmother or the auntie or the mom that pours dishwater down the sink. It goes to affect the Salish Sea. We hear about the pharmaceutical stuff, whatever prescription stuff. Every once in a while you hear fire retardants. What the hell is, I mean, it just doesn't come to me how fire retardants could be in our foods. But I guess it's there. Scientists are finding it. Great effort that I should give credit to my brother, George. His name, he opened the door on changing the name for the Salish Sea to the Salish Sea, and he fought hard to do it. Just how, I'll just give you a few seconds or a few minutes of describing it. He said, we need to change the name to the Salish Sea. And there was a great, in BC, and especially Vancouver, Victoria, mostly Victoria, there was a resistance happened. The old monarchists showed up, is what I said, that's what we faced, to be honest with you. They resisted the name of the Strait of Georgia because it was named for, the Strait of Georgia came from one of the members of the court in England. So there was a resistance there. The one of the not so sympathetic radio stations asked my brother for an interview. So he did an interview and he talked about it. And the poll that was taken after the interview, it said 90% against, 10% in favor of changing the Salish Sea. And I think the radio station kind of found humor in that. And so they kept the story alive and interviewed him again. And other radio stations interviewed him. Within a 2-week period, the poll changed from 90% against to 70% in favor within 2-week time period. I'm telling you this because what it did is it woke up people that were desperate to get the information out to people that we need help with the Salish Sea. And it captured that thought. You belong to the peoples of the Salish Sea. And we expressed that we've been here for a long time and we're worried about the Salish Sea. So with help from the tribes from Washington State here and us getting together in BC, there was a push to have a naming ceremony. And we managed to pull it off, and the great longhouse of the Esquimalt people hosted the name change. We didn't wipe out the Puget Sound or the Juan de Fuca or the Strait of Georgia. We don't want to fight anybody on those things. We'll accommodate that, but overall the 3 bodies will be, from now on, have a nickname, Salish Sea. So, and it's caught on, and it's helped us a lot. Just those things. We were down in Albuquerque for some other reason, and actually we won an award. Salish Sea issue won an award, and a transboundary issue. for fighting for the environmental issue. So on the way home, we had vests, green vests. I don't know, you might have seen them. Had CSI on it, Coast Salish. Anyway, CSI. I forget what was it. And I was at the airport, and there was just a humongous lineup of people going like this. They'd instituted the body scans, and there was a revolt. And I was standing there, and this lady, security guard lady, that she was quite a ways, and she was squinting at me, and I saw her, and amongst all these people, I saw this lady. I know, first I thought she was making eyes at me, but she was looking at that CSI over here, so I stuck out my chest, and I was showing her what this is, and she's looking, oh, come here. I went around, and she put me through, and we got through, and she looked, and she, what? That's Coast Salish Indian. It has benefits way beyond. The rest of our crowd was stuck in the lineup there, and I'm having my lunch, But that's one thing we're trying to do, is get people happily on our side. We all know what's going on with the killer whales. It's just horrible. And a few months ago, the world came awake about what's going on with the killer whales. And we got encouragement and concern from around the world about that mother whale when she held up the baby that she had. And we would be real cautious about taking advantage of a sorrowful time like that. But we listen to everybody. We listen to all the concerns that came into us, and thinking that in a way the whales have sent a message to the world. And that's the way we looked at it. That we're all getting a message. There's something wrong. Something's wrong, really wrong. And we need to band together, work together, encourage each other, and fix it. In the house where I work, in the house during the season, winter seasons that we have, our teaching from our elders is that we don't make mistakes. If something goes awry, if something goes this way or that way, we fix it. That's the teaching. We got to fix things. So from the last few years or whatever, last little while, the concerns are getting louder and louder from us. It wasn't loud enough, and we took the enjoyment of changing the name to the Salish Sea and relaxed for a while. That happened to us. We thought the great victory we had, and we'll enjoy it. But then the whale came and gave us another message. It's not fixed yet. Most of our territory on the island, on the east side of the island, the shellfish is not fit for human consumption. And the people that have the authority know they can fix it. We got to encourage that. We got to do something to help fix that. the rivers and streams. I gillnet. I'm a gillnetter, salmon gillnetter for my privilege is for the whole coast of BC. So I travel the whole coast fishing. There's thousands of rivers and creeks that are salmon-bearing streams. Thousands. And for some reason or another, governments haven't been paying attention to that. Mostly, I think, industry had a free rein on estuaries, creeks and rivers, deltas. And now we're suffering, salmon are suffering those facts. In our little area, Chemainus, in a day I could walk across 7 rivers and creeks that were all so healthy, full of salmon when we were young people. Never did we think that salmon wouldn't be coming back. Salmon wouldn't show up again. In our village, when I look out the window in the early fall, late summer, if I see a salmon jump, you wouldn't believe the elation that comes. Even just to see one salmon jumping. That's how much it means to us. There's so much against us that we can't do it ourselves. In the custom of our people, traditions that we carry, we dance. We have songs and dances for the salmon. Tonight at home, 9 families are working in our longhouse. It's ending the season. Those families went in. The first morning they went in to live in the longhouse for the winter carrying ceremony, they had a salmon dance. And it teaches young people how important salmon is to our people, to our customs, to our traditions, to our way of life. There's a saying that we should all have boro, and I'll lend it to all of you. When things are going good, you're happy as a clam. That's where we want to go. We want to be that happy as a clam. And we don't want to continue fighting all the time. Fighting governments. We end up fighting our own scientists, pitting one against the other. So policymakers, we're pushing policies. What we say is that our ceremony and those practices we have are the policy. That's our laws. Traditional way of our people was to look after everything that we relied on, everything that was shared with us. And that's what we're trying to share back to the policymakers of today. I have a wonderful, I don't know what you call it, but my thoughts are always positive. I think that the power of positive thinking is going to carry the day. It's going to carry the way we are. We have, we can't worry about the naysayers too much. We might have to share our power of positive thinking with them so they could come on our side also. I think that without hurting anybody, without hurting any feelings, power of positive thinking is stronger than ever. My dear mom used to say to me, and I heard her say it lots of times, it's so easy to get on the negative side and be cranky and whining and complaining. That's the easy thing. Stick with the right things to do. So I've taken that as a guidance in myself, and that's why I accepted to come here and have a chance to meet with you and speak with you. How many students in here? And you're all in exam time. My power of positive thinking is you're going to have all straight A's. Pressure, eh? Good. That's pressure, eh? Good. So I really say I'm happy to be here, share a few words with you. Some things that we went through as Salish people, as members of the peoples of the Salish Sea, are pretty private. They belong to certain families. I'll tell you this. In Polier Pass, it's called Polier Pass now. We called it Salcott, where the water goes back and forth. On one side of the, on both sides of the pass are old, ancient villages. Some of the digs there show that the reliance on sea urchins was immense, and it was so healthy with sea urchins. On the other side, as a little guy, we grew up there. Me and my brother were there. When my dad go fishing, for the first couple of years, they kept us where our grandparents were. And the story goes that those two little boys were playing on the points with the seals. And they let us play on the points with the seals. Came time when the fishermen were back, they decided to complete a ceremony, a custom that we have. And they got the old man to take me and bring me to where the seals were. And this young man is going to learn, he's going to know the tides. He's going to know where the fish, he's going to stand up for the fishermen and the fish. A little story that stays alive in our family, in our customary way of oral traditions that we have. Sometimes we hear and don't take it seriously that there's hereditary issues out there. But it still happens today. It's a responsibility from day one that I have to uphold, to know what the sea is doing and what's happening to the sea. So that's why I'm telling you. I think that in all of our ways of our peoples and yours, there's responsibility. I'm going around saying to people, I don't say it too many times, but when I do have a chance, don't be waiting for the other guy to fix it. Let's work together on saving the Salish Sea. A wonderful place. It's a wonderful place. It's the best place in the world, really. The richest place in the world. The studies that we've conducted makes people envious when we tell them that a breadwinner that lives in the Salish Sea in our day only had to work 2 hours a day to look after his family because of the wealth of the Salish Sea and the abundance that we had and the enjoyment of it all. That's saying something about what's still there. A lot of it's still there, except we need to engorge the salmon. But the way to do it is work together. That's what I'm really asking today, that we all work together to save the Salish Sea. Suchi tala, siamnasia yakunasnita sa de kuhuina. I'm just saying thank you. I'm just trying my little best to see if you can help us with the Salish Sea. So I think that most of you would like to get dismissed a little earlier today. So anyway, I'm going to say that thank you. I want to really thank the Lummi people for allowing me here. We are related. Tim, and when he pulled canoe, he pulled on the canoe with my uncles. So in many ways, we're related. So I want to say thank you, and I hope that if you took maybe 2 or 3 of my words, it will help you in your way. And whatever you're doing, it's going to help you. So is there any questions?
Ray?
Okay.
Okay, looking at everyone here. Ray, you were chief for 10 years of your tribe, right?
Yep.
Do you have any lessons, or how was that to be chief? That's a pretty big job. I wonder if you could share a little bit about that.
Well, I was very honored and lucky to be the elected chief of my Chemainus Nation. However it happened, I won by acclamation. It was, I still count it as some of the most wonderful times in my life. I was like every fisherman, pretty strong, independent, not really worried about anybody else. But then when I took a leadership role, I started to worry about how things were going to be in the future. So it was really, really wonderful. I thought it was still 10 years of great. But I should say, I won by acclamation, and then I didn't accept, after 10 years, I didn't accept a role again. And it's a real hard thing. I lost a missus through an aneurysm, very young, totally out of the blue. And the guidance from my mom and my parents were, you got to go and fix yourself, make your life back, get yourself centered again before you do anything. And your people will always be there, and they'll always stand with you. So I did. I went back and got my life back together and remarried. I forgot to tell you, I have 11 kids. I told you I was going to brag. I have 20 grandchildren and 11 great-grandchildren. And they're all happy and healthy as clams. So we're really busy at home with the culture, and that's where I've sort of, I have a political position with BC. I co-chair the First Nation Summit. We're the organization negotiating and fighting for modern day treaties, which is immense amount of work. It's a, it's a big job, but I enjoy that also. So that, for whatever reason, I am still working. But my dear mother, she said to me, so long as you can, keep going to work, keep doing what you're doing. You have a long time to be old. That was the guidance from my mom. So we work. My family works. My brother works. My brother works in the federal system he's a policymaker somewhere. We're mad at him because he flew back east on that ugly plane. Now he's got to come back. That was, he's getting it right now. So. Oh. Thank you. Oh, sure. Thank you. Oh, Sim. Oh, Haichka. Oh, Sim. Haichka. So, for your information, in the custom of our people, if you give me some quarters, everything I said now belongs to you. It's yours to use wherever you want. It's yours to use whenever we need help, you are the witnesses. Witnesses have responsibility. To remember this day, to remember this time, and to remember the few words that you heard today. So I want to say thank you. It means way more to me now that you followed a custom that we have carried so long, and we're so precious about it. So a blanket and acknowledgement of the words, now they're yours. Thank you so much.